Thokozani Emakosini Kamako. Thank you for joining me for another video. In this video, we will be looking at the ancestral spirit, Inzuza. So in terms of the hierarchy in powers, we have reached the top. I can safely say there is not a more powerful spirit than the one that we are about to discuss. But nonetheless, I will not go in depth spiritually, as I do not want to cause confusion, but demystify. We could have the same spirits, but our ancestors could originate in different parts of the continent. This teaching will be different from the rest of the teachings, I guess, because of the magnitude of the misinformation and misconception, because of the mystery behind the spirit. But please take everything with a pinch of salt, and remember, this is how I am taught. Let's get into it. So as I teach on the spirit, I want to stress the importance of departing from Christianity, departing from evil, because it will not serve you. A lot of the things that we've been told about ourselves comes from the Western world, and because of that, it will always seek to, number one, demonize you, everything about you, and your power, and your ancestors. So please, when I teach now, this is not for Christianity. We have departed from Christianity. And unfortunately, when I departed from Christianity, I took this book along with me. So not everyone's going to be pleased with that. But anyway, tough luck. Let's get into it. Now, therefore, if ye will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all peoples, for all the earth is mine, and you shall be unto me a kingdom of priests, and a holy holy nation, a set apart nation, different. Okay, these are the words that you shall speak unto the Bantus. So, what does it mean to be a peculiar treasure? All right. Okay. Or other words, what does it mean to be a nine-ether being? Okay, peculiar. Number one, different to what is normal or expected. Strange. Number two, particular. Special. All right, special. Different than expected. Okay, different to the norm. So I'm going to play a video just to show you how peculiar we are, and I'm going to expound on that video afterwards. Please be open-minded. Don't get offended. Okay, I was also first offended when I heard, but just listen and pay attention.
Black people are ancient aliens.
Can have a look at that. I'm really pleased about it because normally we perceive aliens to be white, and that's never sat very comfortably with me, frankly, when I know that it's not the case. This particular group are a black group. They're very benign, very friendly. I have encountered them, though I can't say that I'm anything like an expert on them, but I have encountered them. They are not reptilian. The questioner uses the word reptilian. I can understand that because when you look at them, you would see the scales, you would see the whole shape, but the correct term is amphibian. They are a hybridized form of human and amphibian. They are black-skinned. They model themselves a little bit on human culture. That's because they have existed in the oceans of this planet. 5'8" and 5'10", something like that, not particularly tall, and do wear clothes. A very benign group, the sort of group that would not get involved in the human side. You know, they wouldn't want to be involved. So yes, I'm familiar.
Okay, so I want you to take away 4 things that he said. He said the aliens that he has met are amphibian, number 1. Number 2, that they are black-skinned, meaning they are melanated. Number 3, They exist in the oceans of this planet. Number 4, they are not tall. Now, those who know, like really know, will know that this man is talking the truth. Now, I want you to understand, I'm not saying that we are aliens, okay? But I can understand, why he would use that term. If you don't understand, you just don't understand, you know? Yeah, you're gonna say everything is black magic, black art, aliens, but I think the correct term is that we are gods. So I came across this article by Umkhulu Ben Selinza. He goes into the people under the water, the snake under the water, and the gifted people who have this spirit. So let's hear what Umkhulu has to teach us concerning the spirit. Inzuza. The name can refer to the spirit or the snake that controls the spirit. Some people call it a water spirit, though it is not just a water spirit, it is also the snake, including the people who live under the water. Inzuza is the spirit that reigns in the water kingdoms. I am writing about the kings of the water. Anyone who has this spirit must not think he is cursed, but know that he or she is called for kingship and must consider themselves fortunate, though to most people it ends up being a curse to have this spirit. It's true that the spirit can make your life hell if you are disobedient and refuse to accept the calling. I feel pity for those who have Inzuza, because even though this is a great spirit, it is very difficult to find the right place for initiation. Inzuza has its own people, nationality, language, and impande. There are people of Inzuza who have their language and have their own place. Some of those people have mixed with us and have become part of us. After all, one is born with the spirit. The people of Inzuza are people who stay under the water and live there, though some have integrated among us, thus causing their spirit to be among us. They are not tall, they are almost like Abatwa, but darker than Abatwa. Normally, the snake lives on top in the water, and the people live underground in a dry land. If someone has to go for initiation underwater, those people are the ones who do the initiation. The unfortunate part about Inzuza is that it is very rare that it will show you a place for initiation, because those with Inzuza are supposed to go for initiation underwater and be initiated by the people of Inzuza. The only place it will show you will be the river or take you there for initiation. This is a high calling for Ubungoma. If you have this spirit, your life will never be the same and you won't live normally like everyone. Constant headaches, which are not curable by any Western doctor, but by only the specific herbs, will be a normal thing. Dreaming of walking in the wilderness, rivers, seas, and big snakes will be a normal thing to happen if you have the spirit. Some people with Inzuza end up being taken by Inzuza underwater for initiation, and unfortunately, because of our relatives are ignorant of the rituals that are supposed to be done when one is taken by Inzuza, once you are taken, you will die or never come back or end up living with the people of Inzuza. Our elders have completely forsaken our culture and most of them are ignorant. When one is taken by Inzuza, they are also ignorant of what is supposed to be done, thus leading to being taken, never to come back or to die. If one has Inzuza, one needs to go for Ugufemba and then be directed to the right Gobela, who knows all the right rituals associated with those who have Inzuza. So many Bokobela will claim they know Inzuza, yet they don't know. But once you are with them and they see how powerful your spirit is, they become jealous and wish to take your spirit, Utwebula, or block your spirit. Unfortunately, most of Bokobela, because of hunger and greed, will claim they know the spirit, and their actions cause more problems for initiates, leading to the Inzuza getting angry. When you have this spirit, you will definitely have to go for Ugutwasa, otherwise you might end up dying or losing your mind. Inzuza can look after you very well and you will lack nothing after you have been initiated. If you have Inzuza and you find the right place for initiation, you will never be poor. Those I know who have Inzuza, having been initiated very well, are also living very well without working for anyone. Inzuza is royalty, so you are given an inheritance to live well, as long as you are initiated correctly. Those Bokobela who know the spirit well will use certain muti which will connect you well with Inzuza so that you won't be taken when you go to the river. There is a time when you will fetch your Inzuza from the river to be joined with you. We must remember that even if a person has been taken for initiation under the water by the people of Inzuza, even after initiation, you will still need a Gobela to help you for your journey. The next short piece that we are going to look at is from Gogo Noma, from her website, Learning with Noma. So in her piece, Gogo Noma writes, "These water spirits serve as guardians of the waters. They find a home in all water reserves, including dams, rivers, oceans, etc. These ancestors are very powerful, and protection of these sacred spaces is their mandate. In Zuza, spirits live in water and have different species, each with its own unique personality, physical traits, various gifts, and different spiritual dialects they speak. They usually show themselves in dreams. They appear as animals, mystical animals, for example, unicorns or the half-human, half-animal characters. The type of mystical animal you will see will help your spiritual guider or Gobela to identify the type of Inzunza spirit that walks with you and the type of Mpande they need and what trait they contribute to your gift. Most times the Nzunza spirit will guide you to the herb needed to feed and strengthen them. They serve to protect you when you go to the waters for any ritual or cleansing. Not everyone who dreams of water and water species have the Nzunza spirit. Context and consistence of dreams is of utmost importance. Okay, so what do we learn? We learn that there are kingdoms underwater where prophets born with this spirit are required to connect with. Number 2, these kingdoms are guardians of the serpent underwater. Number 3, Inzuza is both the water spirit that governs all water bodies as well as the spirit, the serpent within. It is number 4, a spirit of kingship and wealth, and that is why it is so coveted by unrighteous individuals. Number 5, because of its kingship, you are not required to go initiate the traditional conventional way. You are required in the water, not on earth. Number 6, people with this spirit will not live a normal life like everyone. You are set apart for a higher calling. Number 7, to reject this calling is not wise. I hope everyone can hear me above the rain and the thunder. Anyway, the psalmist here is praising God for creating Leviathan. O Lord, how manifold are thy works. In wisdom thou hast made them all. The earth is full of thy riches. So is this great and wide sea, wherein are things creeping, innumerable, both small and great beasts. There go the ships. There is that Leviathan, whom thou hast made to play therein. So that's for you guys that think, there's no serpent. Listen, there's nothing that God has created that is evil. Just that man has the capacity to manipulate good things. So in Job 41 is the description of Leviathan. Leviathan makes the water boil with its commotion. It stirs the depths like a pot of ointment. The water glistens in its wake, making the sea look white. Nothing on earth is its equal. No other creature is so fearless. Of all the creatures, it is the proudest. It is the king of beasts. So I spoke. That is the spirit of kingship. We learned that it is spirit of kingship. And then also that people who have this spirit have a very large sense of self-assurance. It looks like pride, hence it is the proudest. This creature is the proudest. It's just a manifestation of the ancestors that walk with you and the type of spirit and power that is within you. It's not a bad thing. Uhamba namakhosi. So God is asking here, since no one dares to disturb it, Leviathan, who then can stand up to me? Who has given me anything that I need to pay back? Everything under heaven is mine, meaning Leviathan is mine. God created Leviathan, and only God can disturb it, and to whom that connection with the kingdoms underwater can disturb it, basically. We know now there are people under the water, and some sangomas who are having a higher calling, have that connection with the people underwater. We are not of this earth. We are gods, Christianity is trying to diminish all of that and make us all the same. No. We're not the same. But anyway, let's continue. Leviathan is a sea serpent. So if we must look at this ancestral spirit, we must look at Joseph, who is the firstborn from Jacob and Rachel. As we learned earlier, the spirit is a spirit of wealth, health, and prosperity. It is a powerful spirit of protection. When we look at the spirit, we must think of the birthright that was given to Joseph. Deuteronomy 33 reads, Moses said this about the tribes of Joseph. May their land be blessed by the Lord with the precious gift of the dew from the heaven and the water from beneath the earth, with the rich fruit that grows in the sun and the rich harvest produced each month, with the finest crops of the ancient mountains and the abundance from the everlasting hills, with the best gifts of the earth and its bounty, and the favor of the one who appeared in the burning bush. May these blessings rest on the head of on Joseph's head, crowning the brow of the prince among his brothers. Joseph has the majesty of a young bull. He has the horns of a wild ox. He will gore distant nations, even to the ends of the earth. This is my blessing for the multitudes of Ephraim and the thousands of Manasseh. So you can see this spirit is a water spirit, the waters above and the waters below. It is a spirit of wealth, health, protection. Okay, the spirit will take care of you because the entire earth, all the forces of this planet, of this world, seek to work for you as a birthright. This is Jacob's words, blessing to Joseph. Joseph is a fruitful bough, even a fruitful bough by a well, whose branches run over the wall. The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him. But his bow abode in strength, and the arms of his hands were made strong by the hands of by the mighty God of Jacob. From thence is the shepherd, the stone of Israel, even by the God of thy father, who shall help thee, and by the Almighty, who shall bless thee, with blessings of heaven above, blessings of the deep that lieth under. Blessings of the breast and of the womb. The blessings of thy father have prevailed above the blessings of my ancestors, unto the utmost bound of the everlasting hills. They shall be on the head of Joseph, and on the crown of the head of him that was separate from his brethren. Okay, so we heard from Umkulu that you don't live like a normal person. A person who has this ancestral spirit will actually relate a lot with Joseph's story, how that he was hated, you understand, for no good reason. The Bible says they hated me without a cause. It is such a thing like that. People talk about you, people just generally don't dislike you, but this is even, it's just a sign. You have been set apart, okay? And they're trying to show you that you're not like everyone else. You need to be set apart. If you look at, let me put it like this, the Inzuza spirit having been handed down from Jacob to Joseph, okay? It was that spirit that was responsible for Joseph not dying in prison, okay? But Joseph always was a leader even in prison, okay? Because once again, that spirit is a spirit of kingship, and it will always, always take care of you. Please also note that Jacob said the blessings of the dew of the heavens and the blessings of the waters in the deep. So all of those things are Joseph's inheritance. So that spirit deals with the waters above, the waters below. So let's read about Joshua, son of Nun. The most famous Joshua is the one who assisted Moses and conquered much of the promised land. He was the son of Nun of Ephraim. Ephraim is one of Joseph's son, who was actually given the first born birthright between him and his brother Manasseh. Manasseh was born first, but Ephraim came second. So Joshua is from the house of Ephraim, the house of Joseph. So Joshua being the son of Nun is very striking for me. Nun in Kemetic mythology is known as the primal waters from which all things were created. While the Kemetics had many creator gods, the consensus was that all of them sprang from the waters of Nun. So the Kemetics believed that everything sprang from the waters of Nun, from the guardian of the waters came everything that was created. And in the Bible, we have the Spirit of God moving upon the face of the waters. And from there, everything was created from the waters. From Genesis verse 1, okay, we see in verse 6 where the waters are separated by a firmament, the waters above and the waters below, okay, being divided. So the waters above and the waters below are the blessings of the birthright, and the birthright belongs to Joseph, okay. And in those blessings, the lesser is included in the greater. I mean that you are able to relate with the two great lights that God created, the sun and the moon. Well, amongst other things, here in Joshua 10, we read, "Then spake Joshua to the Lord in the day when the Lord delivered up the Amorites before the children of Israel. And he said in the sight of Israel, Sun, stand thou still upon Gibeon, and thou moon in the valley of Ajalon. And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people had avenged themselves upon the enemies." That is Joshua. Joshua is the son of Nun. We read Nun is the Spirit of God. Here we read about Joseph as well. When he was speaking before Pharaoh, what did Pharaoh responded to him? "And the thing was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and in the eyes of all his servants. And Pharaoh said unto his servants, Can we find such a one as this, a man in whom the Spirit of God is? And Pharaoh said unto Joseph, Forasmuch as God has showed you all this, there is none so discreet and wise as thou art." Mind you, Joseph was only 30 years old when he was standing before Pharaoh. And so one of the traits of an Inzuza child is wisdom at a very young age. Okay, you're not like a normal person. And so your trials and your tribulations will be different from the rest. Okay. So that's all I can pretty much share. But before I leave, I will play a video for you guys just to understand that we've been lied to. You understand? And we need to get to know God for ourselves all over again. But I wanted to leave you this video so that you can understand that we are gods. And these nations, these other nations, they actually worship you. They worship a God that looks like you. Tawazan.
Why does the Pope worship a black God? This video is for all the people out there who think God is not black. I always wonder why this pops up when you search Jesus on Google. It shows a white man. But in your Bible, it clearly says that he's black. But your Pope literally bows down and prays to a black God. And that's because he knows the truth. He's a very evil person. He does very weird things, but he knows the truth. They're not stupid. Like, just watch this. Y'all see that right there? Pictures of him bowing down and kissing the feet of black men. Which I think we're crazy when we come on this app and say we're non-ether beings. We're not humans, we're gods. People dehumanized us for so long and told us we weren't even human. And ever since I had my awakening, I completely agree, we're not. We're gods and goddesses, and that's the reason we've been oppressed so heavily. I worship a book that's about black people, but was written by white people. Instead of finding the true religion we have for thousands of years, y'all say it's demonic.